Hey, welcome to another very exciting episode of the Real Deal podcast. This is a special one, so I'm going to call this the special episode. It's going to be chapter 6. The race is not finished. That is the theme. So let's get it. All right, welcome to this very special episode of the Real Deal podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Happy Saturday, January 25th. I can't believe it's already the end of January. We was just celebrating the holidays, Christmas, New Year's, and we were saying Happy New Year, and now it's the end of January. So I hope everyone's enjoying this time, enjoying the weekend and everything too. And if you're a football fan like I am, my Philadelphia Eagles are one step away from the Super Bowl tomorrow. So had to throw that out there. You know, they're just one game away. So they got to take care of business tomorrow against the Commanders. So, but before all that, but I got a very special episode this time around. But before we get into that, you can follow the show on all the podcast platforms, social media platforms, wherever you consume your podcast, whether Spotify, Apple. We're on the BS3 network, bs3tvlive.com. Roku channel, BS3 TV Roku channel. Follow the network as well, BS3 Network, bs3tvlive.com. Follow all of our shows. We got shows for a little bit of everything. We got shows about sports, fashion, politics, cooking, a little bit of everything. So I think we got like over 40 shows on the network. So again, tune in and the BS3 Network, bs3tvlive.com. You can follow me on all podcast or social media platforms, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, a little bit of TikTok there too. I Get the Real Deal on all the platforms. So without waiting in the wings, I got a couple great guests. First up, me and this incredible woman has done 5 chapters, and this is what we call been our chapters. It's been growing ever since. We're on chapter 6 of this series, and this one's called "The Race Is Not Finished." And she's an incredible, talented woman. She is the owner of BeliEve&AchiEve. She's got an incredible story. If you heard it, we're gonna talk about that if you haven't. But she does. It's a movement, and it's like I said, BeliEve&AchiEve. So welcome to the show. Back to the show. Runner Eve. How you doing today?
Hi, doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Glad to get you back on again. Happy New Year. And like I said, it's late in January now, but I don't know when you stop saying Happy New Year. But this is the first time that we've done a show in a while. So our 6-1, can you believe it? Chapter 6. So thank you for coming on once again. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's always an honor, especially working with you. I know you've been there day one with the journey. So to get to this exciting chapter 6, we have made it. A lot of people don't go that many years. First year, you see people, you just hear about them, they kind of fade away. But I feel like we get stronger every chapter. Every chapter is a new movement with the process of BeliEve&AchiEve.
Yeah.
And so thank you with your network and The Real Deal. And, I won't spill the beans yet because we got a special superstar coming up next that I want to introduce. But I wanted to kind of go into what this chapter is.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
So the race is not finished. I want people to think about what that means to them personally. To me as a kid, I always heard it when I was in practice from races. The race is not finished. My mom was always yelling that. So that's where that saying comes from. And at the time, I didn't really understand what she means. Well, what do you mean it's not finished? Once I'm done with that race, I'm done.
I'm done.
Keep going, you know? But she knew all along. I feel like there was a purpose I was being developed in. We talked about the highs and the lows with the different chapters in case anybody is new and just tuning into chapter 6. We went through BeliEve. Then we had a BeliEve&AchiEve.
Yep.
We had self-love, the healing chapter, the longest mile, and now the race is not finished. And what I learned is during the journey, part of my journey, I was getting developed. You know, sometimes behind the bad scenes, when we go through storms, we don't know why. It's easy to always say, why me? Why me? But it all goes hand in hand. The race is not finished, meaning there's another journey, there's another chapter. I had to turn the page to get to that. You know, starting the brand, I had everybody's help. We sent a message out there, a strong movement, united we stand, and keep going forward with new platforms we keep hitting. Well, the race is not finished. That was purpose to bring on, because during the journey, you see, I've met people that helped on the journey to discover to a new chapter. I remember meeting you, how we had met through
Yeah.
social media, you know, it connected us. And we were able to unite together to bring a special message to a lot of people out there that can relate to through different things of their life they went through. And for me, I see now the race is not finished because there's other people I'm connecting with to go on the journey with. And that's their journey they're going with. That means there's different steps that I'm going to be there with them every step of the way, helping them during that process. And the part of the hoodies, you know, every time we do a launch, I like to talk about the piece about it, because it's not just a clothing brand. It's a message that goes with it.
Yeah.
So with that, we have now the newest hoodies, and I just got to get a little picture there with the roses and the book. But what it means is different symbols. So when you look at the hoodies, I want people to understand the meaning behind it. And so I picked white because that's a pure love everybody has for the brand that's came. With the book, there's many pages. You kind of keep going. And that's why it's not at the finish. It's kind of just at the beginning, because there's a lot of more chapters we got to go through.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. That's only chapter 6, right?
Yes. And, you know, it's a journey. So we keep turning the pages. Well, you know, during the pages, we had some hard times. So that's why the rose petals were below it, because we had to go through those hard times. And then, as everybody knows with the journey, I've always tried a way to give honor to my mom. With Esther Lopez Tobar, there wouldn't be no Believe and Achieve. She is the whole reason that gave me the reason to believe again, to achieve. Yeah. And so she loved red roses. And rose was what I picked in her honor to carry the legacy still going for her. All my siblings and everybody, and believers, achievers, you, Alan, just different people I met across the journey, Modena, and even from her kids, Vea, everybody's came together. There's no age limit. And so I love that with it. So what I wanted to do with the brand logo, holding that petal strong above it, was basically just saying, we went from the lows to the highs. We made it. We're on the top. So that's why it's holding it, because together we've got to that journey through the happy place. And, you know, everybody goes through different obstacles. Well, like I said, I've shared my story about it.
Yeah.
And there's sacrifices down the line we'll be going through about different chapters of what you have to do to sacrifice to grow. So during the journey now, I want somebody that has definitely been through the obstacles, ups and downs, and how he had to believe to achieve again. So I'm going to introduce Alan to come on here and tell his story.
Absolutely. And let's get Alan on. I mean, this guy has such an impressive resume. That means a 3-time Masters USA boxing champion. I mean, just there alone, you had to achieve and believe and achieve something on that nature too. Also, a scientist as well, and family. You know, it's a husband and and a father and everything too. So, Alan, welcome to the show for the first time. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you both for having me on this. Thank you, Eve, for everything that you've done since we've met. I was just looking back. Oh my gosh, I've known you since 2021. That's first correspondence was. So you've been through a lot, and I really, really do appreciate having the chance to tell my story on your podcast here, Courtney's podcast here. And I really am grateful to be on this journey with you guys.
For sure. Yes. We're excited to have you on. You were on the last chapter. You got called in and, talked a little bit about, but now that we have you like almost, I guess, virtually in person now. So we definitely want to hear your story. So the floor is yours, man. You can go as long as you want. So tell us about the journey and how you started and where you are today.
And we want to hear about it, because look at their belts back there.
Yeah, the belts. Yeah, yes, the belts. Yes, 3-time champion. Come on.
It's not even all about the belts, to be honest. It's life itself is such a big journey, and I know I probably I don't know if I look it, but that's why I'm in the Masters division because I'm on the older side. So I've always wanted to, you mentioned it earlier. I have 2 kids. I've always wanted to instill in them that you just got to believe in yourself and you could achieve anything you want in life. So you said earlier, oh yeah, you're a scientist, all this. I've done a lot of great things in my life. Before boxing, I used to motorcycle, and it wasn't just motorcycling. It was racing motorcycles on a racetrack. I used to do that. That was something that, I see myself on a motorcycle. I'm like, wow, I did that, like 10, 15 years ago. I actually did that, and then before that, or during that, I was, getting my PhD to become a scientist, So a lot of these things happen because you set a goal in your life, and you really have to believe that you can do it to be able to get past that finish line. So same with boxing. Boxing, it just came to me kind of randomly. It's more of a funny story. In 2019, and I haven't been doing this for that long. So, 2019 is like what, 6 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Almost 6 years ago, for 2025. But like, a friend came over to my house, and I had some boxing gloves, and he literally beat me up in my house. And I said, hey, give me 3 months. Give me 3 months of training, and I'm gonna fight you again. It was just a friendly little boxing match, and
right.
So I started training for boxing through that, and it literally blew up into this. And I figured out, I was actually decent at it. My body could do some things, still at my age, that I was. You actually have to believe in yourself first of all to be able to achieve that. But I started training really hard. Not just to fight my friend, but because I thought of the future. I said, I could get really decent at this. So 2019, I started boxing, or just training boxing. Fought my friend again. It was fun. We did that. But I didn't start to compete until really 2021. But I love the sport so much that I kept to it. So 2019, 2020, and 2020 was the year of COVID, right? So like a lot of the gyms were closed. But I met a really good friend of mine. He's actually a former bare knuckle heavyweight champion of the world. His name is Joey Beltran. You could look at him online. Joey Beltran, he was in the UFC. He was in Bellator as a fighter in those. So he's a pro fighter. I met him, and I kind of just started training with him, and we became good friends. He ended up moving in 2021, right after my first competition. So he moved to Miami for a bit. He's back in my area now. I live in California, and he's back in North County, San Diego area. So we still keep in touch nowadays. But he really got me into my first competition. I did really well. I was fighting a guy that was probably half my age. I literally say that because I'm 44 right now, and I'm turning 45 this year, 2020. So when I saw this kid that I fought, literally he looked like he was 20, maybe 20, maybe he was drinking age already, but he So I went in that ring, and it takes a lot of courage just to step in that ring, right? It regardless if you win or lose, it just takes a lot of courage just to make the walk into the ring. Right. And that's what I learned from all my coaches nowadays. It's just, you got to believe that you can do it. And if you even get to that step where you're just walking in the ring, you've accomplished something right there, right then and there. So, I kept to it. I did they call these unsanctioned fights smokers. They call them smokers. It's like Fight Club. They pick someone around your size and you fight them, right? So I did another competition in 2022, and then and I was still training, and I had moved on to a new coach. It was Adam Castro. I have his. This is my coach. He's who I'm with now, but we're being coached under now, and so I did one more smoker with him in 2022. And then I started this USA boxing journey that I've had. And that was, it was really daunting to me at first because I didn't know how I was going to perform. And then one thing was, I had to travel sometimes to do these events, right? So I went to Houston for my first ever USA boxing match, and it was a trip. It was like I said, okay, I'm in a place I don't know. I'm fighting someone probably from Houston, that knows the gym, knows the ring, knows everything about the place. I'm in a different time zone. I don't know where to train, so I'm going into this thing. I'm like, I have a good chance of losing. Everyone has, like their, they have like the home field advantage.
Right.
So, I went in there, did my best, listened to my coach, and guess what? Got that belt over there.
First one. Yep.
And I was like, okay, this is great. I could continue to do this. That was in April of 2023 when I did that. And then I did another one in New Jersey. That's the one above my head right here. That one's a bigger one, meaning that there's more opponents, more potential opponents, and they try to match you up with, of course, your weight class, and then someone that has around the same amount of fights. So actually in these weekends, depending on how many fighters there are, and that the green belt right in there in the center, that was there's a lot of people that fight in that one. So I had a lot of different people that I could potentially fought that day, that weekend. And it's a tournament style. So it's kind of like you were talking about football earlier, Courtney.
Yeah.
It's like brackets. So if you win the first one, you move on to the next one.
Right.
Again, there, like New Jersey was kind of crazy. The first fight I thought I won. I literally thought I won. And then the judges gave it to the other guy. So I said, oh, I'm done. I'm done for the weekend. I'm not going to fight again. But miraculously, and maybe this is, I'm kind of a religious person as well.
Yeah.
But something happened where they gave me a second chance, and I wasn't allowed to. I flew my coach, everyone over. I flew to Philly, where you're at, Courtney, right? That's where I did the Rocky Steps. I was like, I'm not gonna fly back without so I was okay with just fighting someone that lost if I needed to, because I was already. But they gave me the guy that I fought the first fight. He ended up backing out of the second fight. That he was supposed to fight for the championship. So I got that second chance to fight for the championship, and I won that fight. They call it the ref stops the contest, RSC, meaning that I beat the guy so bad that the ref
had to stop the fight. Yeah.
So I was very, very proud of that moment. You should have seen. I mean, there's so much emotion. I have some pictures on my Instagram, if you guys ever look at it, of all the different emotions I went through that weekend, because I had two fights, right? So the first fight I thought I won, and the judges gave it to the other guy, and then so I went through some sadness, some like
a lot of emotions,
like ashamed. I worked so hard to get there. You almost want to cry. Yeah, I'm like, oh man, I'm out of it in the first round. And somehow I got that second chance, and I made the most out of it. And then more recently, 2024, I fought one fight in Las Vegas in February, and I ended up losing that. That guy was a really good opponent. He had a better game plan than me in that fight, so I lost. And then I was thinking, I at that point I was like, do I still have it? Because a fighter's length of time that they do it. Sometimes you think about that. You're like, oh, well, do I still have it? So I after I lost that, I went back to the drawing board, and I really reset my mind. I actually got back together with my first coach, Joey Beltran, the former UFC and the bare knuckle heavyweight champion.
Right.
He coached me in strength and conditioning, because I wasn't doing much of that in the past, and I stayed with my current coach for the boxing. right? But the strength and conditioning helped me out a lot. So I went back to Vegas. I didn't fight the same guy, but I went to Vegas at the end of 2024, and I ended up winning that belt over there. So that's the 3 times championship. And, you know, it took a lot to get there, a lot of sacrifices. As Eve, you were mentioning earlier, like anything that you're really passionate about, you have to sacrifice a lot. You could imagine, you know, having to cut your weight down. Right now, I'm heavier than I normally am, right? But I fight probably about 15 pounds lighter than I am currently, right? So you have to lose all that weight, be very disciplined. But most of all, you just have to believe that you can do it. And then it all just comes after that. So that's why I'm really grateful to you, Eve, for like, you know, I'm wearing the BeliEve one right now, but then I have all of your other gear too. And I really do enjoy this message that you're pushing out, you know?
Thank you. I do want to say, Alan, on behalf of all the believers and achievers, so proud of you. That's why I feel like things happen and why the message keeps going strong, because I was already starting on the pieces, working on this stuff. And it was just a timing. I know Alan's been there since the beginning. And that's why I know you've got all the shirts too, when I very first started to now. And when this chapter came, I mean, there's no way I could have predicted. You know, I was going to root the best for Alan, but I didn't know if he was going to win or not, with revenge coming back stronger.
Yeah.
And it was like it all fell into piece. This was designed, this chapter, for him. And that's why I know people are used to hearing me share my story, but I said it's time for somebody that's also been on the journey to hear it. And that's a movement. We talked about different people out there, and I see all the work you're doing, the training. It's not easy, but you can see you have the passion. You have not once gave up. You could have easily stopped and said, I'm done with once you lost your fight. But instead, you took it like a true achiever and you said, no, I'm going to keep the faith. I'm going to come back harder. And you won it. I mean, you had everybody excited over here. I know from different parts of the states are watching, and, you know, everybody's always got your support. So thank you for always carrying the message and being a strong example of what it takes to achieve.
Yeah,
thank you so much. Yeah,
for sure. There's a lot of comments in here. So we got to give some shout outs real quick. We got Lorraine Botarama Jimenez. I hope I said that right. So thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate it. She said congratulations on the belts and everything. We got Jill Ashurst Loomis. Thank you. That's so awesome. You got that second chance. And that's what this message is about, the Believe and Achieve message. And me and Eve always said, we talked about this. It's not just, you know, a clothing line and everything too, but it's a message. It's a movement. And I always say that it's so important to continue to, so you get that second chance and you take it, you take that second chance and you achieve to, you know, believe to achieve it. So I always say that. We got one of my loyal listeners, Nathan Ramasandra, the NR Sports Show. He said, what's up, everyone? He said, everybody keep up the great work. And he said, you guys are the best. And yeah, also Eve is a hard worker. She's such an inspiration. Yes. I want to get into that about inspiration and what that looks like for both of you. We'll start with you, Eve, on that. Like I said, we've done 6 chapters, so I know how inspiring your story is, but talk about what inspiration means to you, and Alan, you follow up with that one.
So inspiration to me, it comes from anything moving to not moving. And what I mean is I see inspiration in anything. It could be a piece of paper sitting there and it throws a sign in my head of something going on. Inspiration to me has always been my mom. I've seen how I carried on her traits, everything she taught us from kids up to now when she had passed away, you know, recently in past years. I was thinking about it recently and I started going through stuff and I was like, I remember when my mom used to say this or do this. And I'd be like, why are you making me do this and that and chores and all this stuff? But she was grooming for what hard work would take. You know, I have different role models I've looked up to running, Prefontaine. Even when I go working out, I know it's a classic. People might laugh, but I put on the old school movies of Rocky. I get pumped up. I'm ready to start, you know, just do a good workout. I look at different inspirations like that. It's motivating when I hear people that defeated all odds. I remember in cross country, when my coach, he had actually said something, and it kind of dawned on me. He's like, I'd rather teach somebody and coach somebody that came from nothing. And he's like, that's why I see everything in you. And I was trying to say, well, yeah, you don't have to call me out, coach. I know I'm not rich, but it made sense. What he was saying is, I never took anything for granted. I had more of the heart because nothing was given to me. I had to work for it hard. A lot of times people see the success and what we do, and they're like, oh, they have the good life. They have it easy. But all of us go through hard times. We go through battles. We just determine how we're going to soar. We can get to our lowest point, but how do we get back up and come back harder? Before elevation, there's always going to be some type of pain. You're going to have a breakthrough. It's going to take a lot. So the harder the challenge, the bigger you're going to be inspiring in the long run. So anybody from siblings, my family, all you guys, believers and achievers, inspire me daily. I know some people would be shocked and be like, what? You pay attention? But that's why I love, sometimes I'll just hit up people randomly and be like, I saw you scored this, or you passed this test, or you did this. I pay attention to that because everybody's an inspiration to me in many different ways. So thank you all.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm definitely going to put this message up here. It says, Marlon Wesley, thank you for being on the show. In the comment, Runner Eve, great podcast. So grateful for you, and even more for my daughter to have you for an example for her to look up to, so she can understand to believe and achieve any obstacles that you face in life. She's already has a testimony. I can relate to your boxer friend, Alan, talking about having a second chances. And I'm so glad we serve a God to a second chance. Continue to keep faith and keep moving. Yes, keep the faith moving. Yeah, I agree. 100% agree on that. Thank you for that comment. We got some others. Woohoo. And you never give up either, Eve. You are such inspiration. I admire everything you do. Great perseverance, hard work, and dedication. So, Alan, yes, inspiration. What does that mean to you? And like you said, the journey you had just laid out is inspiring in itself. That's a journey and a story, and it goes to the theme. The race is not finished, but what does inspiration mean to you?
Yeah, inspiration. For me, it seems like it can come from either within yourself, or it could be provided to you from someone else, some sort of, and I think for Eve's story, and I've heard some of it. I'd love to hear more of it over a chat, outside of this podcast, of course. But like, I've heard about your mother and everything like that, and how much of an inspiration she is to you. I think for me, the same, my parents, my dad's no longer with us. He passed away during COVID. But at the same point in time, I've always aspired to be like him, a very good, and my mother as well, of course, but my dad, he also was a scientist at one point, in his career. And, he's not with us anymore, but at the same point, I always want to be very similar to him, and then for me, inspiration, I've been a very goal-oriented person ever since I was young, when I was in college. I remember one of my friends, he was my roommate. He could eat like horribly Wiener Schnitzel every day, something really horrible. And he'd still have like a 6-pack and really be buff. And I'm like, how do you do that? So I made a bet with myself. I said, hey, give me a few months and I'll try to, I'll start working out. And I was not very fit my first few years of college, and then after I met this guy and I started doing this, I've stuck with it ever since, so it's there's little things like that inspire me, trying to tell someone else like, oh, well, I can do that too. Those are little things that get to me, that I try to do for myself. And I also, ever since having kids, one of the things that I really that really inspires me is doing all the things that you want to do in your life, because life is short. And, whether it be, oh, I really want to ride a motorcycle really fast, or I want to get, I really want to understand science really well, all those things that I want to check off my list of things to do, I've been able to accomplish. Even the music thing. I didn't even talk about this, but if you look at my my social media, I used to play in a band, and then I said, hey, I like music, right? So let me write some music. So I actually have a couple CDs out over on Apple Music, you know? So because I used to be a singer and songwriter. So all the things that I want to do in my life, I try to check off, and that's what really inspires me, you know, to do these things that are, people think, oh, wow, that's amazing. But to be honest, they can do it too if they just believe in themselves, right? So it's like, you just have to put yourself out there, manifest it, right? Just do the thing that you want to do, and you'll get there.
For sure. And you know, inspiration, I mean, because you could be inspired by each other. We can be inspired by each other of what is, like Eve said earlier, it's like what you do. I'm inspired. I love seeing people win. That's something that I'm very diligent about. It's just because there's so much love, like just showing so much love to people of how we connected, and to see the things you guys have achieved and the things that you're aspiring to be better at whatever it is. I love seeing that. I do, even from afar. Even, you know, so some of the people I've connected with on, even just on social media through this podcast, I'm always inspired, and it inspires me to do better, to be better, things like that too. And I really, like I said, I'm glad to have connected with both of you, and so that does inspire me. You know, again, inspiration for me is, you know, my family, of course, my wife, my faith, just, you know, believing, you know, just believing God fully, and that to me is so inspiring in itself. It goes a long way. So I can't thank you guys enough for really, as I say, blessing the podcast. You guys are podcast family. I have so many. There's your podcast family and everything too. So, but I just got a couple more because I don't want, you know, we could go on. We could do this for a couple hours. And, you know, I know when me and Eve do these shows, we go on a long time. But I wanted to ask, like, what do you feel like is some of your biggest, as we talk about Believe and Achieve, what's some of your biggest achievements? Al, I know you talked a little bit about that, being a, you know, 3-time champion and everything too. Any other things? It could be something you do for your profession or even outside of that. We'll start with you. What are some of your biggest accomplishments or achievements that you're very proud of?
No, I mean, I mentioned a few of them, and of course, the boxing right now is what's on my mind. You know, the boxing has been great. I mean, the other achievements include things that I was passionate about, that I've always wanted to do, that not many people have done in the past, right? So the music thing, I started playing piano when I was very young, and then started singing and doing all that stuff. I had a certain style of music that I loved, and I tried to emulate, right? And so, I mean, the music thing was a big accomplishment for me. I have, actually, it's 3 CDs out on Apple Music. They're all under the moniker A Thin Line. That's where my A Thin Line comes from on Instagram, Eve, you know. So, but, you know, that's just the name that I use because I don't think Alan sounded as good, you know.
So use a different name, right?
You know, that's a really big accomplishment, and it's kind of an outlet to me too, right? So that's one thing. Of course, the motorcycling thing, I won a few races as an expert motorcycle racer. And that's kind of like, you know, I know that there's some people that are very, very emphatic about team sports. For me, I was never really going to be a basketball player or a football player, right? So I stuck with like the individual sports, whether that be, I used to run like half marathons a lot and stuff like that. I never ran a full marathon. That's probably on my bucket list to do. But like the single person or individual sports like racing, like motorcycle racing was one of my big passions for a big time in my life. And it was something that I'm very grateful that I got to do while I was young enough to do it. And before I had kids, and I don't have to think about them, you know, going 100. Right. 100 over 150 miles an hour, you know? So that's good. And then of course, you know, one of my biggest achievements was getting my PhD. So, you know, just to follow in the footsteps of my dad. And it's opened up the world for me for great jobs, you know, that I have, because my profession is not the same as my hobbies, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's given my family a great life, you know. All those things, I mean, like, they're all over the place, guys, right? Like, I get it. It's all over the place. It's like motorcycling, boxing, science, and, you know, it's all
Yeah.
it's all over the place. But like those things, I always say this. I said, you live a short life, right? If you could say, and it's kind of morbid to think this way, but if you say, hey, if tomorrow I get hit by a car or something like that, I could say I lived a great life, to be honest, you know. I really do. I could say that tomorrow, because I've done all the things that I've really wanted to do in my life, you know, at my age. So, and of course, that's morbid to think about, but at the same point, like, I hope that people think that way, where you think, oh, have I done everything that I wanted to do in my life? Because life could be short sometimes, you know, and not long enough for you to do everything that you want to set out to do. But if you set out to do everything, like, early up front, you can do it. So that's how I think. That's how I've lived my life, and I'm very blessed to have a beautiful life.
Yeah, the very blessed. Another comment, Anissa Marie, very positive message. Eve, I appreciate you so much. An amazing platform. You worked hard for yourself. So grateful to have an amazing friend like you who is always there. Keep going. Amen to that. Thank you for the comment and all in the support. And says, step into what inspires your soul. Just do it. Yeah. Yep. And amazing, courageous, such a blessing. Yeah, really appreciate these comments and appreciate the, you know, the support as always. But Eve, yes, any, you know, some of your biggest, what you would say, some of your biggest achievements or, you know, biggest blessings that that you have witnessed or that you have been a part of and things like that.
I would just say a lot of them have been with just being able to get the brand to coming up soon to celebrate 4 years. That's been an awesome feeling. You know, you get tested every year, and I always want to keep pushing myself. How can I keep expanding more and getting out there? You know, having the website, which anybody ever wants to go to, it's www.BeliEve&AchiEve.com. Go to Facebook, go to Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, you know, Believe and Achieve by Runner Eve. Those are my achievements of expanding to different states. I finally got to go out to Texas, the roots, and go out there and bring the message. That's been some big achievements. I know with me and my best friend Modena, we're always talking about how are we going to get to other states, you know, traveling all the way from Kansas to Texas. Well, we did it. You know, that was a big achievement. We went twice, not once, twice. So that was good. Fashion shows, making a breaking through where you have all these couture dresses and stuff. And then here comes the Believe and Achieve swag with the J's on out there. So I've definitely turned how people look at the fashion multi ways. That's what the piece is. You can wear them different ways from working out or just if you want to go run errands, and they all have different pieces, multi-purposes. You can wear them. And then exciting, I have actually coming up in March for St. Patty. It will be the first time ever Believe and Achieve is a sponsor for a 4-mile race. Very excited. It's probably about over 700 runners. It's going to be a great community thing. Spectators coming out. So to get out to that moment, because everybody knows running is my passion. So to finally get to sponsor being part of that has been a big achievement that I'm so blessed with. And just throughout the years, all the love and courage and everybody's support, you know, Ellen, you, the whole network, Modena. And then I have her daughter over here as support today, too. It's been a blessing with Bea. Say hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Glad you made an appearance.
I was up to bring the people with me that are behind scenes helping.
You're the woman of the people. Yes.
And just everybody I've gained over the years, you know, love. With Cindy Way, my boyfriend, my family, everybody has been giving you great love. And that, to me, that's the biggest achievement you can have, unconditional love. So thank you, all you believers and achievers, for everything you've helped.
For sure. And it says, come to California. You're always welcome here, girl.
Hey, I'm manifesting that.
Yes. Well, before that, I've been trying to get her back here. Come here to Philly. So for California, Philadelphia. When it's warm, though. When it's warm, it's 20 something degrees. It's too cold now, but yes, like I said, appreciate that as well. All right, the last one, and me and Eve, we do this every show. We talk about what you kind of alluded to, what's for 2025, new year, and we always have new goals and things like that. So Alan, I'm gonna start with you, and Eve, we'll finish with you on this one. 2025, what's upcoming, what you expect, what you want to accomplish in this new year. And as I said, the theme is the race is not finished. So Alan, we'll start with you on this last question.
No, absolutely. And that theme, Eve, the race is not finished. It's such a good testament of what happens in boxing too. They always say that's a marathon, not a sprint, right?
Yeah.
In boxing, it's like you have to trust the process. Every single day, I'm still learning something, right? So, my goals for this year, I do want to do maybe 1 or 2 more Masters events,
Okay.
but I have a lot of friends in what I do in boxing now that are professional fighters, and one of my goals is maybe do 1 pro fight at my age. And
Okay.
I'm at this age, there's not too many people that have done it. George Foreman was the last 45-year-old,
right? Yeah,
that was still fighting at that time. That
and became champion. Yeah.
So to be honest, it's kind of a bucket list thing for me, but my coach and my team that we have here for boxing, at least, we have a couple pro fighters that are doing really, really well. And yeah, my coach, my coach coached the my other coach, Joey, at one point. So he knows the pro scene pretty well, and I'd love to do 1 pro fight, just to have that under my belt, and then I've been thinking about, because of my age and everything like that, thinking about coaching even more often. So one of the things that I love to do is give people knowledge about what I've learned in these past, 5-6 years of doing this, right? And I've learned to love it. And so another thing for me would be, this is farther than 2025, but in the future, I'd love to own a gym myself, and really just be a coach and teach people what I've learned in my short time doing this.
Love it. I love that. And as you said, we put it out there and we work at it. And they said, by the grace of God, it will, having that, will happen. So for sure. All right, Runner Eve, you are the last words of this podcast. So talk about, you said we have the message, the race is not finished. And you talk about what that means. What does that mean for you in 2025 and what you got coming up? What you can announce, and congratulations on everything too. Because I know the last time we talked about sponsorships and things like that. It seemed like it's all coming together. So the blessings are coming together. So, but yes, 2025. What's that look like to you?
2025, definitely coming back with. I'm going to try to start doing some podcasts live on the scene at the pop-up event. So. Okay. You don't know already, but I'm expecting your expertise and help.
Oh yeah, you can just we're all the message away. So just let me know. I would definitely help. Anything you need on that.
And then just getting some more people that I see their journey, meeting new people on their journeys. Some different also sponsorships, ambassadors. So I am already looking at applications. People are already submitting for their sport that they want to look at for sponsorship, individual or from teams. And, I've challenged myself. I've been out of retirement for 2 years, I say running, had some problems, but this is the year everybody's waiting for me to get back into there. So yeah. I think I gave a little break for some people to get that win, but I think right. So definitely going to come back to 5K and just getting out to another fashion show. But, it's definitely going to be hinting might be Atlanta, Texas, LA. It won't spill all the beans, but there's some stuff coming in the works for that. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned, everyone. Yes, and again, thank you everyone that's the comments and the messages. It's been been great to put this all together and everything too. And got one last comment here. Such a baddie boss, babe.
And before we end, Courtney, I just want to say too, if I can,
Yeah.
thank you and Alan for being a part of this. And it was an early also celebration, but I did want to say happy heavenly birthday to Esther Lopez Tobar. And
Yes.
we did have a cake. A winner had won it in Wichita. As you know, is try to give back to the businesses. So thank you, Gina Rodriguez, for making a cake. It was an awesome cake, strawberry shortcake. They got delivered today. It's a few days early. My mom's birthday will be officially on January 27th, but with the launch and everything, I wanted us to celebrate. And like we said, we always got to have a piece of cake in her honor.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Like you said, inspiration. And you said the race is not finished. So that's the name of the theme. And for sure on that note. But I can't thank you guys both enough for the inspiring stories, the message, the movement, and everything. And we talked about this for the last couple of months, and we finally did it. So it was a great episode, a great episode, very epic episode. So I really appreciate you both. So everyone, thank you for tuning in. But before we go, you guys got to give out your social medias and everything too. So Alan, tell us where they can find you, follow you, reach out to you, follow your journey and your boxing journey as well. So get out all your social medias.
No, thank you so much. You can find me at a Thin Line TV on Instagram. That's pretty much the only one that I use right now. I'm sorry about that, but I also want to give a quick shout out to all of my people. Adam Castro Boxing. You could find him on Instagram. Joey Beltran MMA. That's another one. 10th Planet Gym. This is the gym that I train out of. It's really a jiu-jitsu gym. But they have an amazing striking program that my coach and many other coaches teach at as well. Let's see. I just recently got a haircut at this place called Clubs Court, and I had to give them a shout out because they're always making me look decent. And of course, my wife, my kids, my friends, and all my training partners. Thank you so much for letting me get to where I am right now. I mean, I couldn't have done it with any of them, So thank you so much. And thank you for having me on, Courtney and Eve. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for me.
Thank you.
Thank you for sure. All right, Runner Eve, where they can find you, the Believe and Achieve movement, the clothing line, and all those good things.
Well, it's going to be a manifest in every state. So we're coming soon.
Yeah, coming everywhere. Everywhere.
You can go to Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. Believe and Achieve by Runner Eve is what it's by. Definitely the website, www.runnereve.com. Got the newest hoodies just out, so come support. And definitely pop-up events. Just check the pages for those because those have the pop-up events and the running events on sponsoring that I'll be in person with too. So thank you to, again, all the believers and achievers turned into it. Modena, Bea, you, Alan. Thank you for being solid role models of what it means to believe and achieve. Thank you for my brother and sisters, Eleanor, Esther, Manuel, Elizabeth, all my nephew, nieces, namesake. I've got a big family, so I can't name everybody. Sorry.
Right.
And my boyfriend, Cindy Way. Thank you for everybody putting me together. But I didn't want to miss anybody. Lorraine, everybody signing in, Jill, Gina, thank you. Just know I do appreciate everybody.
Absolutely. Like I said, I appreciate both of you. Thank you again for doing this and sharing your stories as well. You can follow, like I said, you can follow me on all podcast or social media platforms and podcast platforms. I'm not gonna go through them all, but Twitter, Facebook, Instagram for sure. Courtney Harden, the real deal with Courtney Harden. You can find it on all those platforms. And since we're giving shout outs, I got to give a shout out to my wife, Christina Harden. First and foremost. Yes. Got to give a shout out to her. Got to give a shout out to my family. I mean, like I said, I got a big family too. So my mom, my brother, my cousins, my everybody, my mother-in-law, yes, nieces, nephews, sister-in-laws, everybody. So yes, shout outs to everyone that made this happen, that has put this together with me and always supporting, voting me for the best podcast of the year last year. So I can't thank you guys enough. Thank you for all the votes and everything too. So it just keeps rolling. Get the real deal on all podcasts and social media platforms. So that is a wrap for the show. I want to thank Alan. I want to thank Runner Eve. I want to thank BS3 Network as well for making this happen. And till next time, keep posted, keep everything. Yeah, everyone stay safe. The race is not finished. Believe and achieve, everyone. And as always, peace and God bless.
Bye.